G'day you good motherfuckers, the Buttsman here. I hope you're doing not bad. I know you're going to read the title of this video and you're immediately going to think, wow, that bloke with the beard is the biggest piece of shit that I've ever seen in the entire world. And you, my friend, would be correct. But this video is not so much about trying to be a horrible person, it's more about trying to prove a point that hopefully will help people rather than hinder them with their own lives. You see, there's a lot of people pushing something very unhealthy, and I think that I need to talk about it. In a world where we are trying desperately not to die, from organ transplants to stem cells to cancer treatments to a whole range of anti-aging medicine, all we are trying to do from the moment that we start to become vain is not die. It is built into our DNA. We don't want to die. And yet, at the very same time that we are all hiding in our homes from a scary, invisible devil, from some invisible illness, we are promoting something that kills far more people than that particular illness. We're being told not to go anywhere near our grandparents because we might kill them, and yet we are constantly being barraged with the idea that it is okay and it is healthy to be overweight. And that's what this video is about. There is a reason that we see large fat fuckers, and I'm not talking about people who are, 4 weeks in isolation, eating too much and drinking too much piss fat. I'm talking small moons here. There is a reason that we see them as unappealing. And simply, it's because they are sick. They are sick people with no self-control. Of all the people who die every single year in the first world, 20% of them are because they're fat fucks. Which is why shit like this is highly retarded.
If you see an image of us, fat women, being happy and loving ourselves, there's someone trolling on us, asking us why do we love ourselves the way that we are. We are in Henderson, North Carolina for the first annual fat camp.
Like honestly, what the fuck is this? Fat camp? This is ridiculous that people look at this shit and think it is okay. It is exactly the same as going up to someone who is obviously abusing drugs or smoking 6 packets of cigarettes a day and saying, hey, I'm really proud of you. You're really powerful. Good on you for having black lung. You're fucking killing it, mate. Surely as a society we can realise that it is not okay to promote this shit. And I know it firsthand. I know how much it sucks. To cut a fat story short, I was a very fat child. I lived my entire childhood as a fat boy. When I was 6 years old, I had a 6-pack, and then I discovered Foxtel and chips, and I destroyed said 6-pack. But as I got older, I discovered alcohol. I was still playing sport and all that type of stuff and doing a lot of exercise, but I realized how important diet is because I quickly got to 134 kilograms. That's 297 pounds or something, almost 300 pounds. Now I'm 6'8". I'm a big dude anyway, so I'm gonna be heavy, but that's way too much. So I ate a ketogenic diet, and the reason I ate a ketogenic diet is because I had epilepsy, well I have epilepsy, and I thought it would help. It did help, which is awesome. I also, as a byproduct, lost almost 100 pounds. I got down to 94 fucking kilos, but that was a bit too thin. Anyway, 18 months later, I was back up to 124, and that was during this whole YouTube time. Now, there's a lot of reasons that happened. Number one is I was on tour for most of that time, and I ate way too much shit food, far too much Maccas, and I had the influence of tour manager Zach Wild, he loves eating Maccas. Alongside that, I also developed a panic disorder, which I'm not going to go into now. It's a serious problem that a lot of people have. It's to do with anxiety and all that type of stuff, and that was related to the whole epilepsy situation. But one way to control feeling anxious and panicking all the time was to eat food. So instead of sitting on my lounge every single night freaking and panicking for no solid reason, I would just continuously graze through food. Now, that wasn't bad food because I was on a keto diet at the same time, but it was too many calories. And thus, I put the weight on and became a fat fuck again. Now, the Buttsman, he's been training hard over the last 6 months and he's back down to 114 kilos. So go fucking me. Anyway, I was fat shamed my entire life and it absolutely sucks. But I think a worse outcome than being fat shamed would be for people to tell me my entire life of how powerful and brave I look. That's such bullshit. It's feeding the fat problem. Being fat is terrible for your sex life, you making friends, all that shit. It's terrible. But you know what it's worse for? It's worse for your health. Simply, it's gonna kill you at some point. You have to be told. If you don't do it yourself, you have to be told. Or eventually, one day you will expand and expand and expand until you pop. But now more than ever, it is so common to see celebrities or everyday people being celebrated, mainly overweight women, for their gross bodies. It's blokes too. James Corden last year, who's a dude off the telly. I know who the fuck watches the telly anymore. He had a stoush with Bill Maher, who was also off the telly, and it was all about Bill Maher making fun of fat people and encouraging the population to fat shame.
Some amount of shame is good. We shame people out of smoking and into wearing seatbelts. We shame them out of littering, and most of them out of racism. Shame is the first step in reform. It's what goads people into saying, maybe I can do better, as opposed to, I'm always perfect the way I am, how dare you?
Is Bill wrong there? No, not even slightly. James then went on to grandstand about how it's okay to be overweight and fat, and it's not okay to talk about it, and you need to shut up about it, Bill, and all this shit. But in that case, James not only dodged the salads, but he also dodged the point that this will eventually kill you.
A study conducted by the University of Michigan Health System found that childhood obesity is directly linked to poverty. But, fun fact, if you shame obese children, Whole Foods will give them free salads. I'm kidding, that's not how Whole Foods works. Defects in the leptin gene are linked directly to obesity. They are, and here's a fun fact. If you shame the gene, it actually fixes itself. I'm kidding, that's not how science works.
Oh, and listen to his crowd just screaming and cheering every single time he says anything. This was one of the big controversies in 2019, but it surrounded men, and that was rare. Usually this fat acceptance movement surrounds fat women. And we see it a lot. We see it on Instagram, we see it on magazines, on TV shows, that everyone is powerful and brave if they got a big fat gut. Because there's no sexy, brave, voluptuous, powerful men. No, they're just fat cunts. One of these fat-shaming controversies came when someone made a comment about a large pop star named Lizzo. Now, I don't want to pretend I know much about Lizzo other than her name sounds eerily like Lizzo. But I'll give you some education. Lizzo is fucking huge. Take from that what you will. She is very talented, no doubt. She has a lot of hit songs. But in the current climate of the world where fat acceptance is absolutely paramount, she is so marketable, it makes you think, is she popular because of her music or popular because of her waist? Am I saying she's popular and famous and she's a celebrity because she is fat? Sure, who gives a fuck? Why not? In fact, according to this reputable news source, Indie 100, some people are even scared of Lizzo because they are fat-phobic. Lizzo became the fat champion, the bulge beauty, when former The Biggest Loser host Jillian Michaels had this to say.
Why are we celebrating her body? Why does it matter? That's what I'm saying. Like, why aren't we celebrating her music? Because it isn't going to be awesome if she gets diabetes. Well, I want to ask you... I'm just being honest. Like, I love her music, but there's never a moment where I'm like, and I'm so glad that she's overweight.
How is that not perfectly correct? I know it's not politically correct, but it's perfectly correct. It's not bowing down to Lizzo's delicate sensibilities, but it's perhaps what people need to hear. Oh, that's right. This is the fucking internet where facts are not as important as other people's feelings. Boo fucking who. It wasn't just Julian Michaels, it was Dr. Boyce Watkins on Twitter. Hashtag Lizzo, popular because there's an obesity epidemic in America. Rather than encouraging people to do better, we are simply lying to them. And that's such a key point. And telling them that they are just fine the way they are. Unfortunately, many of these people are dying from diabetes and heart disease. Having your foot chopped off just to be brave and proud is not acceptable. But then again, what would Dr. Boyce Watkins know? He's just a bloke with a master's degree in mathematical statistics. Yeah, what the fuck would he know about statistics? As you can imagine, every pro-social justice group came out in support of Lizzo, and she needed that support because she can't support her own massive frame. Every article that I read, in fact, mentioned that Lizzo has clapped back. And I just don't know what clapped back means. Maybe that's because I'm a dirty white boy. I don't know. But all I can imagine it means is her thighs clapping as she walks to the fridge. There's another news article from these cocksuckers at Vox. Now, Vox are full of fucking idiots, but this is talking about Jillian Michaels. She is implicitly stating that Lizzo needs to change her body through weight loss. Once again, nothing wrong with that. Based on her assumptions about Lizzo's lifestyle and health. You can assume quite a bit about that. And is stigmatizing fat bodies in the process. Weight stigma is known to have negative health effects whilst also encouraging less healthy behaviours. You know what else is known for encouraging negative health effects? Being the size of the moon! And if you want to know more about Lizzo clapping back, then how about this?
I'm Professor Lizzo and Twerk School is now in session.
Oh, Jesus Christ, don't tell me she's going to start twerking.
I like to tell them to go forward first because they know how to do that. Everybody know how to do this because everybody a big old freak. Let all the muscles fly on your body. You know what I mean?
Lizzo, I don't know what muscles you're referring to there. They are protruding quite a distance from your abdomen and they seem to go all the way around. Either you're hiding a donut under that shirt, the size of which would only support people in a pool, but you're full of shit, Lizzo. They're not muscles at all. Muscles don't jiggle like that. You don't see blokes with big fucking biceps just drooping down, alright? You got a big gullet. You got a gunt. That's what you got. You got a big old fucking gunt and you're shaking that gunt around. Gunt being the combination of the words gut and the C word.
So this happens to me a lot when I'm supposed to be paying attention to somebody, but there's music playing and I'll just be standing there and they'll be like, Lizzo, it's really important that you understand this small detail or else everything, and I'll be standing there like this.
And cut scene right there because Lizzo's breathing too hard. I think the reason I bring up all this twerking business is if she was a young, fit, attractive girl and she was doing exactly this, she would be accused of being a slut, a whore, leading people on, all that type of stuff, just because she's shaking her ass. Now, she is not being accused of that because she is a brave, powerful, voluptuous woman. Now, that is a fucking double standard, all right? If you celebrate fat people as healthy people, then you also must celebrate anorexic people as healthy people as well, because they are both in dire need of help. And it's not Lizzo's problem, all right? She seems like a nice lady, and I am the asshole for making fun of her. The problem is the media. The mainstream media, people on Instagram as well, feminists, all this type of stuff that push this idea that fat is beautiful. I agree, you should be happy in your own skin, but you also shouldn't be unhealthy. Encouraging people not to try and help themselves through proper diet and exercise is not helping anything. In fact, it's only feeding the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East, be extinct, and I'll see you all very soon. Toodaloo, wah, wah, bah.